In this introduction, we're going to talk about Scaleform and how it interacts with Cryengine. Scaleform is produced by Autodesk, and it is a UI solution that is used almost across the entire game industry. It's known for its optimization and as well as its integration with Adobe Flash. So over the years, it's become AS2, AS3, and finally, they've kind of ported it over to Stingray. Cryengine, as it stands, actually uses the AS2 implementation. So if we look at AS2, we notice that inside of Flash, with this integration, we have to use CS6 and below. So this means that you're restricted from using Creative Cloud unless you opt in to a former version such as CS6. We also have the options to use Flash Develop, which is on the right here, and then we have Vectorian Giotto, which is another Flash solution that people can use for free. Both of these applications on the left and the right are free versions of their respective Flash implementation that you can use to actually create UIs in the engine. So you can bypass all Adobe products and be able to compile out to a GFX file for the Scaleform implementation to work. Inside of the actual engine, we're going to talk about the very first steps of how the engine works with Scaleform. This is particularly important because we can teach the whole UI implementation and how to create it in Flash, but it's good to know the basic building blocks of how exactly it takes your UI and then sticks it into the engine to call it when the system starts. This is where the system state control flow graph or the UI action flow graph comes into play. We see that we have on system started, on loading error, and on unload complete. Now all of these are tethered into a logic any node that basically drives into a UI action node, which your menu is housed in. And then from there, you take it into the actual UI action, which is your menu here, and you're able to set up the screen, add a button, and then in this case we have load our level. So this would be your level, and our game rule would be a single player. At the end we have UI action, which would eventually pretty much offload this entire UI action graph to make the start of your level start up the HUD so that you can actually have a playable HUD inside of your level without seeing the menu persist.